Sarah heard it again at 2:47 a.m., scratching from inside the walls of her bedroom. Not mice, not pipes, not the house settling. Something deliberate, something rhythmic, something that stopped the moment she turned on the light. Welcome to the Hidden Path. What I'm about to tell you happened to a real family in a real house, a house that looked perfect from the outside. But houses keep secrets, and some secrets don't stay buried. This is the story of what lives in the walls. The house was a steal. That's what the realtor kept saying. Victorian charm, original hardwood, 3 bedrooms, and you won't believe the price. Sarah and Michael had been looking for months. Everything in their budget was either too small, too far from the city, or in terrible condition. But this house, beautiful, spacious, move-in ready. There was one detail the realtor mentioned, almost as an afterthought. It's been vacant for about 2 years, estate sale. The previous owner passed away, no family to claim it. But the bones are solid, just need someone to love it again. They signed the papers 3 weeks later. Moving day was chaos, boxes everywhere, furniture in the wrong rooms. Their daughter Emma, 6 years old, running through the halls claiming the bedroom with the window seat. Their son Tyler, 9, already planning where to set up his gaming console. By nightfall, they were exhausted. They ordered pizza, ate on the living room floor surrounded by unpacked boxes, and everyone went to bed early. That's when Sarah heard it, 2:47 a.m. She woke suddenly, not sure why. Michael was snoring softly beside her. The house was silent, and then scratch, 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 coming from inside the wall behind the headboard. Rhythmic, insistent, like something with claws dragging them across wood. Sarah sat up, heart pounding. She listened. The scratching stopped. She waited. Nothing, just silence and Michael's breathing. She told herself it was rats. Old houses get rodents. They'd call an exterminator in the morning. She laid back down, pulled the covers up, closed her eyes. The scratching started again. Louder this time. Closer, like whatever was in the wall had moved to the spot directly behind her head. Sarah shot out of bed, turned on the lamp. The scratching stopped instantly. She stared at the wall, floral wallpaper, slightly faded but intact. No holes, no gaps, nothing to indicate anything living inside. "What's wrong?" Michael mumbled, half asleep. "Did you hear that? The scratching?" Probably mice. We'll deal with it tomorrow." He rolled over, already drifting back to sleep. But Sarah didn't sleep, because every time she turned off the light, every time the room went dark, the scratching would start again. And it always came from the spot closest to where she was, like whatever was in the wall was following her. By the end of the first week, everyone had heard it. Michael heard it in the shower, scratching behind the tiles. He knocked on the wall and the scratching stopped. Knocked again. Nothing. Emma heard it in her bedroom, behind the window seat she loved so much. She told Sarah there was something sad in the walls. When Sarah asked what she meant, Emma just said, "It sounds lonely." Tyler heard it in the hallway at night. Scratching that followed him from his bedroom to the bathroom. He started sleeping with his headphones on. Sarah called an exterminator. The man spent 3 hours examining the house. Crawl spaces, attic, basement. He set traps, checked for droppings, looked for entry points. "Ma'am, I'm not finding any signs of rodents. No nests, no droppings, no chewed wires. If you've got something in these walls, it's not rats or squirrels." "Then what is it?" He shrugged. Sometimes old houses make noise, pipes expanding, wood settling. Could be a lot of things. But Sarah knew it wasn't pipes. Pipes don't scratch. Pipes don't move from room to room. Pipes don't stop the instant you acknowledge them. She started researching the house, property records, previous owners, anything she could find. The house had been built in 1887 by a man named August Brenner. He'd lived there with his wife until she died in 1903. After that, he lived alone for another 30 years until his death in 1934. Then the house changed hands multiple times. Different families, none of them stayed longer than 5 years. The records were sparse, but Sarah noticed a pattern. Every family sold the house quickly, no explanations, just sudden sales and moves. The most recent owner was a woman named Dorothy Marsh. She'd lived there alone for 40 years, never married, no children. Neighbors barely saw her. She died in the house in 2022, and it took 3 weeks for anyone to notice. Sarah found an old newspaper article about Dorothy's death. Brief, unremarkable. But there was one quote from a neighbor that stuck with her. She was a strange woman. Talked to herself. Or maybe to the house. Hard to tell. She always said the house had a memory. A memory. That phrase lodged itself in Sarah's mind and wouldn't let go. By the 3rd week, the scratching had evolved. It wasn't just at night anymore. It happened during the day, in empty rooms behind closed doors, and it was getting louder, more aggressive. One afternoon, Sarah was alone in the kitchen. Emma and Tyler were at school. Michael was at work. She was unpacking dishes when she heard it, scratching from inside the wall next to the refrigerator. She stopped, listened. The scratching moved down the wall, along the baseboard, across the floor, no, under the floor, toward her. Sarah backed away. The scratching followed. Under the floorboards, across the kitchen. Following her steps exactly, she ran into the living room. The scratching chased her. Under the floor, through the walls surrounding her. And then all at once, it stopped. The house went completely silent. Sarah stood in the center of the living room, breathing hard, heart hammering, and then she heard it, not scratching this time. A voice, faint, distant, coming from somewhere deep in the walls. "Help me!" Sarah didn't tell Michael about the voice. She knew how it would sound, but she couldn't ignore it either. That night, after everyone was asleep, she went down to the basement. She'd avoided it since moving in. Dark, damp, full of shadows and corners that felt wrong. She brought a flashlight and a crowbar. The basement walls were exposed brick, old, crumbling in places, and in the far corner, behind a stack of rotting wooden crates, Sarah found it. A section of wall that didn't match the rest, newer bricks, different mortar, like someone had filled in a space that used to be open. Sarah cleared the crates, examined the wall, and she noticed something. Scratches, faint but visible, on the bricks, long desperate scratches, like someone had clawed at the wall from the inside. Her hands shook as she positioned the crowbar. She shouldn't be doing this. She should call someone. Police, contractor, anyone, but she had to know. The first brick came loose easily, too easily, like it had never been properly set. Then another, and another. Behind the bricks was a hollow space, a small room, maybe 4 feet by 6 feet, barely big enough for a person. Sarah's flashlight beam cut through the darkness, and she saw it. Bones, small, child-sized, collapsed in the corner of the hidden room, curled up. One tiny hand extended toward the wall, fingers frozen in a clawing position. Sarah's scream echoed through the basement. The police came, forensics, medical examiner. They carefully extracted the remains. A child, probably between 8 and 10 years old. Gender unclear. Time of death estimated at over a century ago. Early 1900s. The child had been walled in, alive. The scratches on the bricks were made by small fingernails. Desperate attempts to escape, to be heard, to be saved. No one came. The investigation revealed records of August Brenner's wife dying in 1903. But there was another record, barely legible in old census documents. They'd had a daughter, Catherine, born 1895. No death certificate, no record of what happened to her. Until now, the working theory was that Catherine died of illness, and August, grief-stricken, mentally unstable, had hidden her body in the walls rather than bury her properly. Or maybe something darker. Maybe she hadn't been dead when he sealed the wall. Either way, Catherine Brenner had been in that basement for over 120 years, scratching, waiting, trying to be heard. They buried Catherine properly. Small funeral. Just Sarah, Michael, and a priest. No one else even knew she existed. The house went quiet after that. No more scratching, no more voices, no more sensation of being followed through rooms. Sarah wanted to believe it was over, that giving Catherine a proper burial had freed her, that the haunting had ended. But houses remember. A month after the funeral, Emma came to Sarah's room in the middle of the night. "Mommy, Catherine is in my room." Sarah's blood went cold. "What?" "She's standing by my window. She says thank you. She says she can leave now, but she wants me to know something first." "Know what, honey?" Emma's voice got very quiet. "She says she wasn't the first, and there are others, still in the walls, still waiting." Sarah and Michael tore the house apart over the next 2 weeks, brought in ground-penetrating radar, thermal imaging, structural engineers. They found nothing. But every night at 2:47 a.m., Sarah still hears it, scratching. Faint now, distant, coming from different parts of the house each time. Not aggressive anymore, not desperate, just persistent, like a reminder, like something saying, "We're still here, we're still waiting, we haven't been found yet." Sarah and Michael put the house up for sale last month. The realtor says it's a steal, Victorian charm, original hardwood, 3 bedrooms, and she doesn't mention the walls. So if you ever buy an old house, a beautiful house, a house that seems too good to be true, and you hear scratching in the walls at night, don't assume it's rats, don't ignore it, don't tell yourself it's just the house settling, because sometimes houses keep secrets, and sometimes those secrets don't want to stay buried. Sometimes they want to be heard, to be acknowledged, to be remembered. And sometimes, just sometimes, they're not alone. Listen carefully tonight. When your house is quiet, when you're drifting off to sleep, do you hear it? That soft scratching, that gentle tapping, that sound that stops the moment you turn on the light. It's probably nothing. Probably. This is the hidden path. Sleep well, if you can.